welcome back everyone. Today I have another video for Whitebeard. This time again, as I was following the series here, the deck that I think it has like one of the strongest potentials here is definitely Whitebeard, as it's a really powerful leader with like the cards that he gets to play, the quality of cards, mainly talking about Ace here, and is really good. Like being able to use Ace and use the full effect on Ace, I think is what gives this leader like a little bit of an advantage over any other leader. This card is way too messed up. I think it's just one of the best cards in this leader, and is what it allows him to compete like so aggressively against everything else. And yeah, that's the main reason why this deck is performing very well, and one of the reasons I'm considering really heavily playing this one. I think the leader only has one major issue as a whole, and it's the mirror. The mirror, it feels a little bit sucky when you are trying to play for the 9-drop and the opponent is not, and then it's just difficult that way. I feel like that's the main problem that I have with the deck. Is like if you're trying to play for the mirror and then you don't see it, it feels really terrible. But it is like it is what it is. It is something that you have to like. You cannot really make your like if you want to beat the mirror, you play the boat version. But the boat version has its own problems too against like removal based decks, where if they can consistently remove your board, then your deck is not as powerful as on this one, which is like removing a threat here is very difficult for this. Anyone to be able to just remove one threat here is going to be really difficult. And the other one, you can just play around that by like your cards have rush. So even if they remove your cards, like everything has rush, so it's not even an issue anymore. But yeah, coming back to what I was saying, one of the main problems with this leader is the fact that you like the mirror. It just feels like so one-sided when one of the persons see the Whitebeard and the other one doesn't, because you're already taking your own life, and then if you don't see your Whitebeard, you cannot stop that effect from happening, and then you get too quickly to 0, and then they drop their own Whitebeard, so you're not able to kill them, and then now you have to deal with a Whitebeard and the leader, and then it's just really difficult for that reason, right? So that's why I have a little bit of a problem with this deck. Like why I would like not consider playing it. It's just mainly the mirror. Every other matchup, it feels like you can definitely win. Like it's never like a terrible matchup. It could be like a bad matchup or bad. Even against Flamingo, like, oh, it's a bad matchup, but there are kind of draws where you like, if you have the correct draw and you play you defend the correct cards and you like protect your leader correctly, you're still gonna probably be able to win. But there are other draws that are just like very, very, very difficult, and it's mainly and again, but the mirror is just very difficult because again, if one of the players sees the Whitebeard and the other one doesn't, it feels very advantageous on that end. The Ace does help a little bit, and also the problem with this version of the deck mainly is the fact that if you're playing against a boat player, you're most likely gonna lose too, because if they see their boat on like whatever turn, they start attacking for big numbers, and it just becomes really impossible to just beat that version, because they have a lot of counter power, they have a lot of blockers, so it's not easy to you definitely just have to go through their whole horn. In the meantime, all their cards are just attacking for like a bajillion, and it becomes really difficult at that point. But if you want to play the deck, that's what you have to concede, and that's what you have to like prepare for. Mainly the mirror, the red mirrors are gonna be like that way for like at least for the next probably next format as well. Although you do get some nice tools for the next format. This format right now, it feels like you have to play something that way, and it just feels like you have to see your cards to be able to have a good game on that end. It's just what it is. It's red in a nutshell. But yeah, it's still a very powerful deck. It still can really compete, and it still can really do what you're trying to do. If you're trying to win a tournament, this is a great deck to try to compete to win the tournament. Because if you, for 9 rounds, you do see your 9 drop, your 7 drops. Like, there's a curve where you go, if you're going first, if you go Luffy, Ace, Whitebeard, that is almost unbeatable. I would say it's unbeatable. It doesn't matter what deck, it doesn't matter if it's a bad matchup. Like, that curve is just very strong. It is really difficult to stop because just Luffy attacks for 6, and then you're able to defend your cards. Then Ace is going to be able to remove whatever pressure the opponent is doing. And then the following turn, the 9 drop is just here. Deal with this 9 drop now. My leader is an AK, really difficult to attack into. And if you have another 9 drop, it's just game over. It's just there's no way to combat that. And then after that, like, all these defensive cards are just really good because of that. So yeah, that's why I have the deck that way. I have one game to show, and it's the mirror, because I wanted to just showcase what it is, what I'm talking about. And yeah, let's go on and see it. Okay, and we're gonna play the mirror here, and I kept the hand because I had a Whitebeard, and that is definitely what it comes down to. But in the meantime, I could play a Marco just in case if I don't have any other play. And here, because we're going first, we are definitely gonna attack with the Whitebeard, and for big numbers, see if he wants to out combo. There is a merit to out comboing out of this, I understand, but comboing 2 cards feels like a lot. So if he had the guard point, it would have been better, but I mean, he didn't. He attacks for 6, and the reason I take this damage here is because I saw that I drew the Luffy as my next play, and getting to the 9 drop with 2 life feels kind of greedy, regardless of the scenario. So I feel like it's gonna be much better if I defend the Luffy next turn, so I can keep applying pressure. And in the meantime, if I take that life, then I'm gonna have more options so I can defend my Luffy much easier, right? Here I'm definitely just gonna out combo with the Vista. Well, I'm thinking that it could be the Vista or the Nami, because I'm right now, for what my hand is looking like, my next play is gonna be Marco as the blocker for next turn, and I want to keep as many Whitebeard Pirates in my hand, but there's also like an argument to play the Nami as well next turn. So I mean, it was a good play either way. And here I'm gonna definitely try to defend my Luffy, because next turn I'm gonna have to try to destroy the cards that he has. But I drew the perfect hand card here, as I drew my Ace, and like, that's what I was saying. Like, drawing Ace into, Luffy into Ace into Whitebeard is one of the strongest things that you can do right now, at least for Whitebeard, right? And then it is just something that it is just very strong. It is something that it warrants like what it is, right? And it is something. It is what you want to be doing with the leader and how you win with this leader. And here I don't attack with the Ace. The reason why is because if he does have an Ace, I do want to play around it, because if he removes both cards out of my board, I cannot just have the 9 drop, and that's not good enough for the most part. And I should be able to defend whatever my opponent does. I mean, if he goes attack all in into my leader, that's okay. That's not that big of an issue. I can just play Marco and keep up a lot of energy, and then the following turn just play the 9 drop. But instead, he attacks for 7. I defend the Luffy, and then now he has to use a lot of energy, but he didn't play the Ace. So, because if he plays an Ace there, then I lose both my Ace and the Luffy. And it's just the reason why I did it that way. Here, I don't want to waste too many attacks into the Luffy. So I'm gonna, okay, so my opponent surrenders. But yeah, that's the curve, that's the reason why. And then now, if he does want to play the Ace to destroy my Ace, he has to forgo playing the 9 drop, and that's not something that you want to do. And now I want to attack with the Luffy. I'm not entirely sure that's the correct play. That's the correct way to play the Ace there. But I was enough ahead where I had a wiggle room there for me to play around my opponent's ace, just in case they had it. So I was able to play around it, and this way, I'm able to just conserve my 7-drop. And now I'm going to be able to attack for like 7, 8k here, 7 if he defends it. But if he doesn't, if he saves the Luffy, it doesn't matter. I'm like 8k leader. And then next turn, I'm going to be able to play the Marco. I have enough defense. Even if he plays a 9-drop next turn, and I don't draw a second 9-drop, I have enough cards now on board to pressure his leader for enough damage to where it's going to be really difficult for him to come back from the spot where I'm at right now. And I have the Marco, which is going to be good to win the game. And I have enough counter in the forms of Radical Beam, Guard Point, and so on and so forth, that I should be able to win the game regardless. That's how I think you play the matchup, the mirror. That's how I've been playing it. And again, it's just something, the perfect curve is Luffy, Ace, Whitebeard. And it's really difficult for any deck to beat that. Because the Ace, as I was saying, is one of the more crucial parts of that equation. Because it's able to just control the opponent's board. And then after that, just is a recurrent 7k attacker, 7k attacker, 7k attacker. And that's really strong. That definitely just puts the game in your favor. But with that being said, that's all I have for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy and have a good day.